What if the more you try to protect what you love, your time, your energy, your happiness, the faster you lose it? And what if the only way to keep anything is to give it away? I know how that sounds. Backwards, maybe even a little annoying if you've had a hard week, because most of us are not in the mood for paradoxes right now. We're in the mood for someone to acknowledge that we're running low, that the tank is closer to empty than we'd like to admit, and that we've been doing the invisible math all day. Who needs what from us? What we can afford to give. Whether there'll be anything left by the time we get home. So here's what this is really about. There's one very specific claim we're going to test together. And it's this. Some of the things we treat as finite, peace, patience, kindness, encouragement, warmth, don't actually behave like finite resources. Giving them away doesn't drain the supply. It multiplies it. And the reason we don't experience that is because we're using the wrong mental model. We're running zero-sum accounting on things that were never zero-sum. That accounting is exhausting. It's also the source of a very particular kind of tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. Stay with me. This isn't abstract. This is about what happens on a Tuesday afternoon when someone asks you for something and you feel your chest tighten. Let's start with what the hoarding instinct actually feels like, because we rarely name it. You're at your desk. You've had 4 hours of sleep. Someone stops by your office, or pings you on Slack, or catches you in the hallway, and you can feel, before they even finish the sentence, a small internal flinch. Not now. I don't have it. Whatever you're about to ask, I don't have the bandwidth. That flinch is the hoarding instinct. It's the part of us that has decided, quietly, that our inner resources are running low and must be defended. So we start doing subtle things. We answer curtly instead of warmly. We give the technically correct response instead of the human one. We conserve. And it feels, in the moment, like survival. Here's the strange part. That conservation doesn't actually restore us. If anything, we walk out of those interactions more depleted than we walked in. We've protected our resources and somehow ended up with less. Think about a candle for a second. This is going to become important. Picture a small flame, and picture yourself cupping your hands tightly around it because you're afraid the wind will blow it out. That's what we're doing all day with our own well-being, hunched over it, guarding it, convinced that if we let any of it out, there'll be less for us. But here's what a candle actually needs. Air. The tighter you cup your hands, the more the flame struggles. The protection itself becomes the threat. Now, this is where the physics of the inner life gets genuinely strange, and I want you to be a little skeptical with me here, because I was too. A candle doesn't lose light by lighting another candle. Everyone knows this. It's the one example everyone uses. And yet, we do not actually live as if this is true about our own kindness, our own patience, our own peace. We live as if lighting someone else's candle will cost us wax, cost us wick, cost us flame. But consider, have you ever been in a bad mood, snapped at someone you love, and immediately felt worse? Not because you got in trouble, because the act of withholding warmth actually cost you something. You had less peace after protecting it than before. And have you ever, in the middle of your own hard day, said something genuinely kind to a stranger, held a door, encouraged a coworker, let someone merge in traffic, and noticed that you felt, weirdly, a little lighter afterward. You didn't spend down your reserves. You seem to have found a little more of them. That's not a coincidence. That's not you being a nice person. That's the actual mechanics of how these things work. Kindness, warmth, peace, they're not stored quantities. They're states you generate by expressing them. They don't have inventory, they only have flow, which means the whole rationing project, the careful budgeting of your good self across the day, is based on a category error. Let me tell you about Dana. Dana's a project manager, and she is in the last stretch of a brutal quarter. 2 direct reports out on leave. A client who keeps changing the scope. She's been running on coffee and sheer wool for weeks. And there's a specific kind of tiredness that has settled behind her eyes that she can feel even when she's smiling. She's in a meeting. A junior colleague, Ernest, 3 months in, still learning, presents an analysis and makes a rookie mistake. Not a catastrophic one, but a visible one. And Dana feels the surge. Not now. I do not have the bandwidth for this. I need to just correct it and move on. She has the sentence ready. It's the clipped, efficient version. It'll do the job. It'll also leave a bruise. The junior colleague will remember it. Will be a little smaller in the next meeting. Will hesitate the next time she has an idea. Dana knows this on some level, and on another level she doesn't have the energy to care. But something makes her pause. Half a second, and instead she hears herself say, genuinely, that's a tough one, here's how I think through it. And she walks the junior colleague through it, patiently, like a person. The colleague's face changes. You can see the shoulders drop. You can see the relief. And Dana, this is the part she can't explain, Dana walks out of that meeting feeling less drained than when she walked in. Not more. Less. She gave something she was sure she didn't have. And somehow she left with more than she started with. Here's what actually happened in that half-second pause. Dana stopped protecting the flame. She let it breathe, and it turned out the flame was never in the danger she thought it was in. What was exhausting her wasn't the demands of the day. It was the constant clenching against the demands of the day. The vigilance. The math. This is the shift. It feels like unclenching a fist you forgot you were making. And most of us are walking around with a low-grade fist clenched around our own well-being all the time. We just stop noticing. So what does this look like on a regular Tuesday? 3 things. 1. When someone asks you something and you feel the flinch, the not now, that's the signal. Not a signal to say yes to everything, a signal to notice you were guarding. Just noticing softens it. 2. When you catch yourself rationing your warmth, measuring out the minimum viable kindness, try offering the fuller version once. Just as an experiment. Notice what you actually have afterward, versus what you predicted you'd have. 3. When you feel depleted, try the counterintuitive move. Instead of withdrawing to recover, extend something small outward. A real compliment, a moment of patience. A generous interpretation of someone's behavior. See what happens to your own state. You don't have to believe any of this. You just have to be curious enough to test it. And here's the relief at the end of all this. You never had to guard it this hard. The thing you were protecting was never running out. It was only ever flickering because you weren't letting it breathe. The moment you stop hunching over it, you notice the room was already brighter than you thought. If you want to keep practicing with this, you can like the video and subscribe. Let's take a moment now to let this settle with a guided meditation. Let's take a few minutes to let this settle. Find a comfortable place to be. You don't need to sit any particular way. Just let your body arrive where it already is. Let your shoulders drop a little more than you think they need to, and notice, without changing anything, the breath that's already happening. It's been doing this the whole time. Now bring your attention gently to your hands, to whatever they're doing right now. Are they holding something? Are they clenched? Are they resting? Whatever you notice is fine. And if there's any tightness there, in the hands, in the jaw, in the chest, just let it be there. You don't have to fix it. You only have to see it. See if you can imagine, for a moment, a small flame, somewhere in the center of you. Small, warm, steady, and notice if there's a part of you cupped around it, hunched over it, trying to protect it from something. You don't have to move. You don't have to do anything. Just notice that the flame is there, and notice that it's been burning the whole time, even on the days you were sure it was going out. Let a little air in. Let your hands, wherever they are, soften. Let your face soften. And rest here for a moment. Nothing to protect. Nothing to ration. Nothing to give and nothing to keep. Just the flame. Just the breath. Just this quiet room, wherever you are. And if a person comes to mind, someone you've been guarded with, someone you've been rationing yourself around, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to forgive them or reach out to them or fix anything. Just let them exist for a moment in the same warm room as you. Notice you have not lost anything by letting them in. Stay here as long as you'd like. And when you're ready, let your eyes open, or let your attention return to the day. Not because the moment is over, because you get to bring it with you. Thank you for practicing with us today. If you'd like, there's a free digital copy of A Course in Miracles available through the link in the description. You're also welcome to leave a simple comment such as, "I am grateful. Thank you for spending this time here." If nothing else lands today, let it be this. You don't have to guard it as tightly as you've been guarding it. Be a little gentler with yourself this week. The flame is steadier than you think. I'm really glad you were here.